I am called Abdullahi. I teach SUMEYA Integrated Educational Center. And I would like to handle IRE. In IRE today, we shall be discussing a new topic called Devotional Act. Devotional Acts. And the Devotional Acts now, remember, that is not a unique topic. You have been learning from the previous classes. And now Devotional Act, we shall be looking now obligations towards the deceased. Obligations towards the deceased. Towards the deceased or the dead. Towards the dead. Obligation towards the dead. And the obligation towards the dead, we shall be looking now before death. We shall be looking before death. Before death. Remember, there are two ways we shall be looking on this topic. One is before death, and the other one is upon death. Before death means the person now has not died. So we shall be looking on that. Under that now we shall be looking and defining a new term called mu'tadar. A new term called mu'tadar. A new term called mu'tadar. And we shall be defining mu'tadar. Mu'tadar, we said, is a person. Mu'tadar is a person who shows the signs of death. So it means the signs of death are present or can be observed on his or her face. So the person who is about to die, showing the signs of death, is what is called mu'tadar. So it's a person. Mu'tadar is a person. A person. Mu'tadar is a person who shows the signs. Who shows the signs of death. Mu'tadar is a person who shows the signs of death. So the person has not died, he or she is about to die. It's a person who shows the signs of death on his or her face is called mu'tadar. After looking that, now there are some things that should be done on mu'tadar. So we shall be looking now acts to be done on mu'tadar, acts to be performed. Acts to be performed. Acts to be performed. To be performed on mu'tadar. Mu'tadar. Acts to be performed on mu'tadar. Remember, mu'tadar, we said, I'm repeating, is a person who is about to die. The person has not died. The person is here, is sleeping on the bed. The person is about to die. It's showing the signs of death. The person is throwing the fingers. Is about to die. So there are some things which are supposed to be done on mu'tadar. So one of the things that is supposed to be done on mu'tadar is that the person around the mu'tadar should help the mu'tadar to face the qibla. So we say we say another one, we say you help the person to recite the Kalima. So you sit next to him and then you recite the Kalima so that he or she hears the Kalima. Another thing we are supposed to do when we are around the mu'tadar is you get rid of anything that angels do not like. There are some things angels do not like, remember? Because we say when the mu'tadar room where the mu'tadar is sleeping, the person who is about to die, the room where the person who is about to die is sleeping, we say there are some things which are supposed to be thrown away. Number one, we said pictures. Anything related with pictures should be thrown away. And remember those pictures, there are some pictures which are allowed. Pictures like trees are allowed. But pictures of anything with a soul are not allowed. They should be removed. And then the other thing we are supposed to remove is the musical instrument. Musical instruments like guitar, which are available in that room, should be also be removed, should be taken away. Another thing we are supposed to do, if there is a dog there, the dog should also be removed from the house of the mu'tadar. Another thing we are supposed to remove is women who are in a state of haid, who are not clean, or they are in a state of nifas, or women with janaba should also be removed from the house. So if the woman is in a state of nifas or haid, or in a state of janaba, should be removed from the house. Another thing we are supposed to remove from the house of the mu'tadar is we also remove the woman whose aura is seen. If the aura is visible, then we remove the woman from the room. because awra, it's seen means the nakedness is observable. Maybe she's wearing a very light cloth, or maybe she's wearing see-me-through cloth, so we remove them. So those are the acts that to be done. Another thing that we are supposed to do on Muhtadar when he's about to die, we shall recite Surah to Yasin cautiously. So number one, we say saying Kalima, saying Kalima, saying Kalima. Kalima means Shahada. Kalima means Shahada. Kalima means Shahada. Saying the Kalima or Shahada is also called the creed, so that the Muhtadar hears. So we say saying the Kalima for him or her to hear. For him or her to hear. Say the Kalima for him or her to hear, for him or her to hear, so that the Muhtadar hears. Do not tell, say, but you say for yourself so that he hears. Number two, another thing we have already explained, we say you make the Muhtadar face the Qibla. Make Muhtadar face the Qibla. Make Muhtadar face the Qibla. Make Muhtadar face the Qibla. So if the Muhtadar was looking any other sides, then you help the Muhtadar to face the Qibla. That was another one. Another one we say, number three, we say get rid. You get rid of anything. Get rid of anything. Get rid of anything that angels do not like. That angels do not like. Get anything that angels do not like. Angels do not like. That angels do not like. E.g. we listed. E.g. we say pictures. E.g. pictures. E.g. pictures, comma. Another one, musical instrument. Musical instruments. Musical instruments. Musical instruments, comma. The other one, women in haid. Women in state. Women in state. Women in the state of haid or nifas. Woman in haid or nifas, comma. Women whose aura is seen. Woman whose aura is nakedness, whose aura is seen, then those people are supposed to be removed. So that is how those are some of the things that we do on Muhtadar when Muhtadar is about to die. So upon death now the person has died now. Upon death, the person now has died. There are some things we are supposed to do when the person has now passed away, or the person has kicked the bucket. There are some things we do. Number one, the first thing we do, the person now has passed. It's no longer Muhtadar. It's no longer Muhtadar. It's now we call the person, now that time, we call that person the deceased. The deceased means the dead. The deceased means the dead. The person has already kicked the bucket. So upon the dead, there are some things we do. One, we make the deceased to face the Qibla. So we help the deceased to face the Qibla. Another thing, after making to face the Qibla, another thing we do, we help the deceased on closing his eyes and the mouth. So we close the eyes and the mouth. Another one, we say after closing the eyes and the mouth, then we cover the whole body with sheet. We cover the whole body with sheet. After covering the whole body with sheet, now we can do even sometimes a gentle massage and so that we avoid swelling. So those are some of the things now we do when the person has passed on, or when the person has already died. We do one, we say we make the deceased face the Qibla. Number two, we said we close the eyes and the mouth of the deceased. Another one, we said we cover the whole body with a sheet. Then another one, we said we gently massage with the whole body. So things to be done. So things to be done on the deceased. On the deceased means on the dead. Things to be done on the deceased. Number one, make him face the Qibla. Make him or her face the Qibla. Make him or her face the Qibla. Number two, we close the mouth and the eyes. We close the eyes and mouth. Close the eyes and the mouth. Close the eyes and the mouth, because the mouth will be widely open. So you close the eyes and the mouth. Then another one, we say we gently massage the body. 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 Those are now some of the things we do. Another thing we do, we bless something on the stomach. Bless something. Bless something on the stomach. Bless something on the stomach of the deceased. We bless something on the stomach of the deceased, like something which is a bit heavier. Why do we bless something on the stomach? It's because we avoid swelling. So the stomach might swell. So to avoid swelling, we place something on the stomach of the deceased. So placing something on the deceased on the stomach to prevent swelling. 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 So swelling means it might get bigger and bigger. So to avoid that, we place something on the stomach. So those are some of the things we do on the deceased. Make him or her face the Qibla, close the eyes and the mouth, gently massage the body, place something on the stomach of the deceased to prevent swelling. To prevent swelling. Then now the person now has died, then you have prepared the person. When you hear now there are some things so now we do. When you hear now the news of the death, there's something that we are supposed to recite. The Prophet ﷺ has already taught us, even it's mentioned in our religion. We say when the person died, we say, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un means to Allah we belong and to Him is our return. So when you hear someone has died, the first thing you say, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un means to Allah we belong and to Him is our return. So that is one of the things the Prophet ﷺ has told us. Now, looking on that now, there are some things which are also forbidden, which are not allowed to be done. There are some things which are haram. So we shall be looking now haram things. So we shall be looking now haram acts. Haram acts. Haram acts. Haram acts. Haram acts. There are some things which are haram, which are not allowed to be done. When one hears the news of the death. So when you hear the news of death, there are some things which are haram. So it is haram. There are some haram things. It's haram to do the following. One, you are not supposed to cry or wail loudly. You remove a certain sound that is normally removed by the donkeys. So it's not allowed. So there are some haram things which are forbidden. They are not allowed to be done. In Islam, we don't allow. Number one, cry or wailing. Or wailing, cry or wailing, crying or wailing. You cry or wail loudly. Cry or wail loudly. Cry or wail loudly. To cry or wail loudly is not allowed. To cry or wail loudly is not allowed. Another thing is not allowed is saying undesirable words about the deceased. Saying undesirable. Saying undesirable words. Saying undesirable words about the deceased. About the deceased means about the dead. About the deceased. Saying undesirable words about the deceased. So undesirable words means words that are not recommended. They are makruh. So they are not allowed. You are not supposed to say bad things about the deceased. So that one is also haram to say about bad things about the deceased. Another one, slap or curse oneself. Slap or curse oneself. Slap or curse oneself. or slap or curse oneself. There are some people, when their parent or their friend or their relative person passed away, then what do they do now? They curse themselves. Then, or they slap themselves. Slapping themselves is beating their faces, giving themselves a shower of slaps. So those ones are not allowed. So whenever you hear, as I said earlier, you say inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. So you are not supposed to slap or curse yourself. The other thing you are not supposed to do is singing. Singing or playing. Singing or playing music. Singing or playing music. There are some people, when they hear the news of death or a very important person has died from their family, what they do, they start now singing. They start now singing or play music, or they play music. So it means now, why do they play music? Some of them, they say it's a way of removing the stress. So they take a guitar now. When they take a guitar now, they say it's a way of removing others. They put on earphone on the ears. So they say it's a way of removing a stress. So singing or playing music are not allowed. It is forbidden. So those are some of the things which are not allowed. One, you are not supposed to cry loudly. You are not supposed to wail loudly. So another thing, you are not supposed to say bad things about the deceased person. Another one, you are not supposed to slap yourself, or you are not supposed to curse yourself. The others now also beat themselves. Now they beat themselves in a manner that they get even sometimes bad injuries. So they are not allowed. Those things are not allowed. Another one, we say singing or playing musical instruments. They are not allowed. They cannot remove the stress. So those are the now haram acts. And now, why do we say you are not supposed to cry? We are not supposed to cry, but there is another way we can cry. The Prophet ﷺ said it's allowed for one to shed tears. You are allowed to shed tears because it's a way of showing feelings to the person. So shedding tears is allowed, as you cannot avoid. So shedding tears is also allowed, as it's an expression of one's feeling. It is an expression, or it's an expression of one's feeling. So since it's an expression of one's feeling and you cannot avoid, then you are allowed to shed tears. What you are not allowed, religion does not allow, is like crying loudly. Those things does not exist in our religion. We go to now rights of the deceased. We go to now other thing, rights of the deceased. Rights of the deceased. Rights of the deceased. Rights of the deceased. We go to now rights of the deceased. Rights of the deceased. Rights of the deceased means there are some obligatory rights the deceased has and should be done. It's a must. And if we fail to do, we shall be punished for that. We call them faradul kifaya rights. We call them faradul kifaya rights. They are faradul kifaya. They are faradul kifaya rights. They are farad kifaya. Farad kifaya. They are farad kifaya rights. They are farad kifaya rights. Farad kifaya means communal obligation. It's called collective obligation or communal obligation. It's called collective obligation. It's called collective obligation. It's called collective obligation. They are faradul kifaya. Remember, we have two types of farad. We have faradul ain and we have faradul kifaya. Faradul ain, it is compulsory to every Muslim who is a mature. Every Muslim who is mature, like for example the 5 pillars of Islam, they are farad. Prayer is faradul ain, Saum is faradul ain, Hajj is faradul ain, Zakat is faradul ain. It's compulsory to every Tom, Dick and Harry who has reached the puberty age. But now for the faradul kifaya, it's called collective obligation. Collective obligation means it's a farad that can be done on behalf of others. One person can do to represent the Muslim communities. So for example, someone has died in around this area where we are now, then all of us, we fail to attend, to do those rites, then we shall be punished for that. But if some of us participate, then it means we shall not be punished for that because they attended on our behalf. So we call them faradul kifaya rights. So they are faradul kifaya rights. They are four. They are faradul kifaya rights, obligatory. They include number one, we have ghusl. We have ghusl. Ghusl means washing. It's also called washing. Ghusl means washing. Ghusl means washing. Ghusl means washing. Where you wash the dead body. It is also a must, should be done. It's an obligatory right. In bracket, we call it the fan. We bury the deceased. So those are the now obligatory rights of the deceased. There are four. There are four obligatory rights of the deceased. Obligatory rights, very examinable. It normally comes in KCBE. So they will tell you now which one of the following is a third. So if they say the third is a prayer janaza, when they will tell you which one is the second right of the deceased, then we say shrouding. So they pick now, they will tell you, they will ask you the positions. The way I listed is the way they follow. So the first one is called ghusl. Ghusl means the person has died, you washed the deceased or the dead. Then the other one is shrouding. Shrouding means kafan, where you wrap a white sheet on the deceased body. Then the other thing is now prayer. In prayer, you can even, for you to remember, you can say janaza. Janaza is the prayer with the third rights of the deceased. Then the other one is the burial. The other one is the burial now. So I will be summarizing now what I was explaining before we go in details to those things. We were looking now obligations of the deceased, obligations towards the dead. Then we define also, we defined the term muhtadir. Muhtadir, we said, is a person showing the clear signs of death is what is called muhtadir. So a person showing the signs of death is called muhtadir. So the signs are visible on his or her face. Then we say there are some things which are supposed to be done on muhtadir. Things that which are supposed to be done on muhtadir. One, we say kalima around the person. We say kalima around the person. La ilaha illallah. You say the kalima so that he or she hears, then later on he may utter. So you recite the kalima. Another thing we do, we make the muhtadir face the qibla. We make the muhtadir face the qibla. Then the other thing we said, we get rid of anything that angels do not like. There are some things angels do not like. So when the muhtadir is here, the angels will not enter if those things are available in the room. Those things are now pictures. So we remove the pictures of anything with a soul. Pictures, not all are pictures, but pictures of anything with a soul. You remove them. Then the other thing we say, musical instruments. If musical instruments are there, you should get rid of them from the room. Then another one, women in nifas, or women in hayd, or women in janaba. So you should also tell them to go away from the room. Then another one we said, women whose aura is seen. If the aura is seen, the aura means the nakedness is visible. The woman is wearing a see-me-through cloth. Then you tell her to go away from the room so that angels enter the room. So those are the now things that should be done. Another thing we say is now reciting Surah to Yasin. Another thing you do on Muhtadir, you recite Surah to Yasin cautiously. Surah to Yasin cautiously. Cautiously means carefully. You recite Surah to Yasin cautiously. So now the person now has died. That was Mu'tadir. The person was showing the sign. The person now has passed. Then we say now has kicked the bucket upon the death. There are things that to be done on the deceased. One, you make him or her face the qibla. You make the deceased, the person has died, then you allow or you make him to face the qibla. You help the deceased. Then the person died is called the deceased, I said earlier. Then another thing you help to the deceased you do is you close the eyes and the mouth of the deceased because they are widely open. So that's another thing. Another one, you gently massage. You gently massage the body of the deceased. You gently massage the body. You gently massage the body of the deceased. Number 4, another thing we do, place something on the stomach of the deceased. You place something heavier on the stomach of the deceased so that you prevent swelling. You know it might swell. Then as we bless now, it will not swell. How will it help? Because there will be an excretion. An excretion will be the waste materials will come out easily. So for easy processing of excretion, we put something on the stomach to prevent swelling. They also, we say there are some things which are also haram. They are haram acts to be done when the person has passed away, crying or wailing loudly like a dog. It's not allowed. Another thing we say, saying undesirable words. You say bad things about the deceased. That one is haram. It's not allowed. Then another one, we say you slap. There are some people who slap their faces. They beat themselves or they curse themselves to curse. Wanafanya wanajilani. So they curse themselves. It's not allowed. Another one, singing or playing musical instrument. There are some people who enjoy when someone does as a way of removing a stress. That one is haram. It's not allowed. Then the last thing we did was the rights of the deceased. The rights of the deceased, these are the obligatory, they are must to be done. It's faradul kifaya. We say they are faradul kifaya. Faradul kifaya means, it's also called collective obligation. It's a faral, it's a kind. Remember I said we have two types of faral. We have faradul ain, like prayer and psalm. We call them faradul ain, individual obligation. But this one is faradul kifaya, is collective obligation, communal obligation, collective responsibility, all of them, whatever you call it, we call them communal obligation, and they include one, the first one we said ghusl. Ghusl means we washing the whole body, and there's a way of washing. When we wash now, when we perform ghusl, not everybody should perform ghusl. There are some qualities the person washing should possess. So we shall be looking on the other time, the next lesson. So ghusl, washing should be done. You cannot bury the person without performing ghusl. Must be attended. If we fail to attend, all of us, we shall be punished for that by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then number two, after washing now, the second step now is shrouding. You do kafan. Kafan means you use the white sheet. And when we are using kafan, we shall be looking into details. In shrouding, we shall be looking, there are ways we shroud the women, there are other ways, and also another way we shroud for men. For shrouding men, there are types of clothes that are supposed to be have. For shrouding men, we have 3 pieces of clothes, while shrouding for women, we have 5 pieces of clothes. We shall be looking at that one when we go details into it. Then number 3, the second, after now shrouding, we have performed the kafan now, is the prayer, janaza prayer. Janaza prayer is also a faradul kifaya prayer. It is performed. And also janaza prayer, there are 2 ways we can be performed. We can perform janaza prayer in the presence of the deceased. We can also perform in the absence of the deceased. The one which is performed in the absence of the deceased is called janaza qaiba, which is also